human began with a mystery. A mystery buried millions of years deep in Earth's forgotten past. Today, humans rule the planet. But our ancestors were once among the weakest creatures alive. No sharp claws, no giant teeth, no incredible strength. So how did humans conquer Earth? The answer begins nearly 7 million years ago, in the heart of Africa. Back then, our ancestors didn't look human at all. They looked more like apes.
Most lived in forests. Most spent their lives climbing trees and avoiding predators. Then something happened that changed everything. Africa's climate began to transform. Forests shrank. Grasslands expanded. Survival suddenly became much harder. Many species disappeared forever. But one group adapted. Instead of staying in trees, they stepped onto the open ground. That simple decision would eventually create every city, nation, and civilization on Earth. But walking on two legs came with a deadly cost. Predators could now see them from far away. Every day became a fight for survival. Yet evolution rewarded those who survived. Every generation became slightly better adapted, passing those advantages on to the next. Their legs became stronger for long journeys across open land, while their hands became free to carry tools and food. But the biggest change wasn't visible from the outside. Something extraordinary was happening inside their growing brains. Over thousands of generations, their brains grew larger and more complex than almost any other animal on Earth. Yet larger brains came with a challenge. They required far more energy, forcing humans to find smarter ways to survive. To meet these demands, our ancestors needed a revolutionary advantage, something that would completely change their future. That revolutionary advantage finally appeared in the form of the first tools. Simple stone tools would change human survival forever. A sharp stone may seem primitive today, but millions of years ago, it was one of the greatest technological breakthroughs in history. With these tools, humans could cut meat more efficiently, prepare food faster, and defend themselves against dangerous predators. For the first time, intelligence itself became a weapon. Success depended less on strength and more on clever solutions. Yet evolution was far from finished. Even bigger changes were waiting just beyond the horizon of human history. Over time, a new human species emerged. They were taller, smarter, and more ambitious than those before them. This remarkable species would eventually become one of the greatest travelers the world had ever seen. Leaving Africa behind, they ventured into unknown territories and slowly began spreading across vast regions of the world. Yet their most important discovery had not arrived. It was still waiting silently in the darkness ahead. Then came a discovery so powerful that it would change human destiny forever. Humans had finally mastered fire. Fire provided much more than warmth during cold nights. It gave humans safety, comfort, and a powerful new advantage over nature. Predators that once terrified humans now feared the flames. For the first time, humans could protect themselves more effectively. Fire also transformed the way humans ate. Cooked food became easier to digest and provided more energy. This extra energy helped support larger brains. Human intelligence continued growing faster than ever before. Around campfires, people gathered together and shared experiences. These moments helped strengthen social bonds within groups. Some scientists believe storytelling may have begun around these ancient fires. Ideas could now spread from one mind to another. Knowledge no longer disappeared with a single individual. It could be passed from generation to generation. Human progress was accelerating. Every discovery created new opportunities for future innovations and survival. Soon, our ancestors began one of the greatest journeys in history. They would travel farther than ever before. Their path would eventually lead them into a world filled with extreme dangers, and unimaginable challenges. Every new environment presented new dangers. From scorching deserts to dense forests, survival became more challenging than ever before. Yet humans continued moving forward. No matter how difficult the journey became, they refused to stop exploring. Then Earth itself became their next challenge. A dramatic climate shift was about to change everything forever. Temperatures dropped. Ice began spreading across entire continents, transforming familiar lands into frozen wilderness. The Ice Age had begun. Vast glaciers covered enormous regions, creating one of history's harshest survival tests. Countless species vanished during this brutal era. Many animals could not adapt to the rapidly changing world. Yet humans somehow survived. Through intelligence and determination, they endured conditions that destroyed countless other species. Survival demanded intelligence, cooperation, and courage. Only groups that worked together could overcome these extreme challenges. But humans were no longer alone. Something else was living alongside them in this frozen world. Another human species shared the planet with us. Their existence would become one of history's greatest mysteries.
They were powerful, intelligent, and incredibly resilient, built to survive some of the harshest conditions on Earth. Today we call them Neanderthals, one of the closest relatives in human history. For thousands of years, humans and Neanderthals lived side by side, sharing the same world and many of the same challenges. Sometimes they competed, sometimes they cooperated. Their relationship was far more complex than we once believed, and evidence suggests they may even have formed families together, leaving traces of their connection in our DNA. But then something mysterious happened. A dramatic change was about to alter history forever. One human species survived, the other disappeared forever, leaving behind one of history's greatest mysteries. Scientists still debate exactly why Neanderthals vanished. The answer remains uncertain even today. Was it climate change, competition, disease, or was it a combination of many different factors? Whatever the reason, one species now stood alone. Homo sapiens, ready to shape the future of the entire planet. Homo sapiens had survived the Ice Age, but survival was only the beginning. An even greater chapter was about to unfold. The next breakthrough would become humanity's greatest superpower, a force more powerful than physical strength alone. It wasn't strength, it wasn't speed, it was communication, a skill that would transform human civilization. Language allowed humans to share knowledge across generations. Lessons and experiences could now be preserved and passed on. A single idea could now survive long after its creator was gone. Knowledge no longer disappeared with each generation. Knowledge began accumulating faster than ever before. Each discovery became the foundation for the next. Humans became masters of cooperation. Working together gave them an extraordinary advantage. Hundreds of individuals could now work together toward a common goal. Large communities became possible for the first time. This ability changed everything. Human progress was about to accelerate dramatically. Humans spread across Asia, Europe, Australia, and eventually the Americas. Their presence began reaching nearly every corner of the world. For the first time in history, humans occupied nearly every corner of the planet. No environment seemed completely beyond their reach. Then, around 12,000 years ago, another revolution began. A discovery that would transform humanity forever. Humans made a discovery more powerful than fire. It would change how people lived and survived. They learned how to grow food. For the first time, nature could be shaped to meet human needs. Agriculture changed the course of human history forever. Its impact would be felt for thousands of years. For millions of years, humans had followed food. Their survival depended on constant movement. Now, food stayed in one place. A completely new way of life was becoming possible. Humans stopped wandering and began building communities. Permanent settlements started appearing across the landscape. Villages became towns. Towns became cities. Human societies were growing larger and more complex. Civilization had arrived. The world was entering a new chapter of human history. Writing, trade, and government soon followed. New systems emerged to organize growing civilizations. Humanity was advancing faster than ever before. Each generation built upon the achievements of the last. But success created a dangerous illusion. Many believed their progress would never end. Humans began believing they had conquered nature. Their cities and empires seemed unstoppable. Nature was about to fall. A powerful reminder was approaching from beyond their control. Entire civilizations collapsed. Years of achievement disappeared in the face of disaster. Empires that seemed invincible vanished into history, leaving behind only ruins and forgotten stories. Humanity stood at the edge of another turning point. The future would depend on what came next. Once again, adaptation determined survival. Those who changed with the world endured. And the next chapter would transform humans from a planetary species into something far more powerful. A new era of human history was about to begin. Humanity had survived predators, ice ages, and collapsing civilizations. But the greatest transformation was still ahead. The story of human evolution was far from over. Around 200 years ago, machines began changing the world forever. A new age of innovation was beginning to emerge. For the first time, human muscle was no longer the main source of power. Machines started performing work on an unprecedented scale. Technology accelerated human progress at an unimaginable speed. The pace of change became faster than ever before. In just a few generations, humanity advanced more than it had in thousands of years. The world was transforming before people's eyes. Then came electricity, airplanes, computers, and the internet. Each invention reshaped the future in remarkable ways. Suddenly, the entire world became connected. Distance was no longer the barrier it once had been. Information could travel across Earth in seconds. Knowledge became more accessible than ever before. Humanity had entered a completely new era. Technology was now shaping everyday life across the planet. Yet another revolution was already beginning. Something even more powerful was starting to emerge. Artificial intelligence is changing how humans work, learn, and create. Its influence is already becoming visible across the world. Some scientists believe AI could become humanity's greatest invention. Its potential continues to grow with every passing year. Others fear it could become humanity's greatest challenge. Questions about its future impact remain deeply debated. But AI isn't the only technology reshaping our future. Several breakthroughs are emerging at the same time. Genetic engineering may allow humans to rewrite their own biology. A possibility once considered impossible is now being explored. Future generations could become stronger, healthier, and more intelligent. The limits of human potential may be redefined. For the first time in history, evolution may no longer be controlled by nature alone. Humanity could begin influencing its own development. Humanity may soon begin designing its own future. A new era of possibilities may be approaching. And our future may not even remain on Earth. The next destination could lie beyond our home planet. Humans are already preparing to explore and settle other worlds. Plans for long-term space habitation are already underway. One day, cities may rise on Mars and beyond. Entire civilizations could exist far from Earth. Children could be born on planets our ancestors never imagined. A completely new human experience could emerge. If that happens, human evolution will enter a completely new chapter. The future of our species may change forever. But here is the most fascinating question of all, a mystery that reaches far into the future. Millions of years from now, will future humans still look like us? The answer may be more surprising than we imagine. Or will they become something entirely different? Evolution may take forms beyond our current understanding. The story that began in Africa may eventually reach the stars. A journey unlike any other in Earth's history. Human evolution is not a story of the past. It is a story that is still being written. And perhaps, the next step in evolution will be taken by someone alive today, maybe even you. The future is being shaped right now. From a small, ape-like ancestor in Africa to a species capable of reaching the stars, humanity's journey is the greatest story ever told. If you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join Future Ver Media for more mind-blowing documentaries about the past, present, and future of humanity. The next chapter begins.